want to broadcast live sports just like the pros? Are you looking for a way to do it that won't break the bank? Well, today, Carolina Broomball presents How to Live Stream Broadcast Sports with me, Kevin Strezzo. In this video, we're going to talk about how to broadcast with one person and try to do the most minimal possible setup. And then we'll talk about how to broadcast with more than one person and how to make that happen. And keep in mind, this is my own personal setup. This is not the best setup. It is just what works for me. And I tried to minimize the cost here. The original, if you're just broadcasting with one person, can be pretty cheap. It's about $60. It might actually be less than that depending on what you choose to include. And it can go up to about $350 on a minimal setup for more than one person. This setup is going to be mobile, so it will fit in a backpack very easily, so that you can take it in and out of the ice rink. In our case, because we play broomball, that's where we're broadcasting. And then also the entire setup is with 3.5mm or 1/8" audio cables. It's just how I have it set up. It's what I came to use. There's other ways to do it, but this setup is super small, and that's why I like it. We'll talk about the equipment to make these things happen, and I'll mention a couple of tips, and we'll go from there. All right, so hi, I'm Kevin, and the first thing that we want to talk about is the phone. Now, essentially, the easiest way to do this is you already have a phone, most likely, and so that's going to be something that you want to use, and as opposed to having to spend money on an extra camera or another phone or something like that. You already have this in your pocket, most likely. The one that we are currently using at Carolina Broomball is the Samsung Galaxy S5. You could have an iPhone, it could be whatever, as long as it runs a program that will allow you to stream to the internet. In our case, we do Facebook Live, so that's what we're using. In addition to the phone, you may want a tripod so that you have a less shaky video. I'll show you the tripod that we bought was just from Amazon. It's $27. Gets the job done. It maxes out at a 60-inch height. The reason why I like this one is because one, it's super cheap, and two, it allows us to get above the board. So what we do is we have the tripod set up on the table, on top of the table, and then you can see the tall neck portion actually comes out, and this piece will be above the boards. So that way the camera is looking directly at the ice as opposed to looking at the ice through the glass. So that's what we use this for. And the downside to this is where we're filming right now, which is in the box, requires us to have to stand on a chair and move back and forth. So your setup might be different, but the tripod is still a better choice than just holding it in your hand and going back and forth. The second piece that we want to talk about is the phone mount. So in order to get your phone on the tripod, this is the piece that I purchased. I like it because it's lightweight. We had some other options that I was working through, but this one's lightweight, and it also expands to the sizes of the phones that I have. And in particular, the grippy portions that grip the phone are a little bit bigger than some of the other ones that I've seen, and it just holds the phone better. So this is what I use for a one-person setup. This is the minimal piece that you could set up. I mean, I guess you could choose just the phone, but with a tripod and a mount, it will look a little bit better. It'll be less shaky, and so that's probably your cheapest option. Your phone has its own microphone, so it will hear everything that's going on. It's not the best audio, but it'll work. Now, if you want to upgrade to the next piece, I would recommend getting a headset. This particular headset is just the one that I got that I like. I like it because it's one ear and not two, which allows me to use my ear, my other ear for other things, which I'll talk about later. But this particular headset allows you to talk right into the microphone, so it's easier to hear you as opposed to whatever's going on the ice or anything around you. So the headset in this case here is $27. I'll put links to all of the things that I purchased. And again, none of these things are set in stone. You could buy something that fits you better, and I highly recommend you find something that works better for you. So this headset is, as I mentioned before, the 1/8 inch. It's just exactly what you would imagine a regular headset would be with a headphone jack. And you can plug that directly into your phone while you're broadcasting live, and it will pick up your sound through the microphone. So that's the basic setup for one person. You will plug in the headset into your phone. You'll have the phone on the tripod with the mount, and you can go into Facebook Live or some other program and broadcast. So let's talk about the second option, which is to be able to broadcast with more than one person. So if you want something that is closer to the pros, oftentimes there's two or even three people that are talking at the same time. And in order for you to do that, you need to have more than one headset, but more importantly, also, you want to be able to hear each other. And sometimes, if you have more than one headset with two ears as opposed to one, or if you're on the ice and there's lots of noise going on, the advantage of having headphones with more than one earpiece or having a headset at all is so that not only can you hear yourself talk in your ear, but you can also hear everyone else talk in your ear. So it's easier to hear everyone in the booth or wherever it is that you're filming. So that's one of the benefits of having the headsets. So let's talk about it. In order to do this, you're going to need a mixer. Now, I have a mixer that is the Yamaha MG10XU, but that's not the mixer I use for actually going out. It's bigger. If I go to the overhead here, this is the mixer that I use, and you can see that over here is the mixer I'm currently using, and it's significantly bigger, right? So I don't want that bigger mixer. Also, it's more expensive. So this is the Maker Hart Just Mic 4, and let me pull that up on Amazon here. And the thing I like about this is, again, it's super minimal, it's very small, it'll fit in your pocket, it'll fit in a small bag, and it uses 3.5 millimeter or just your normal headphone jack size audio cables. Now, what I want to do with this mixer is I'm going to start with one headset, and I'll explain exactly what I'm doing here. So I have the mixer in front of me. There's actual power that is micro USB. I'm not going to plug that in yet, but that's the power for it. Now, what I would normally do is I'll have your headset plug, and I did mention it's 3.5 millimeter, and it is. So I want to start off by saying that this is what it looks like. So this is your normal headphone jack, and you'll see the number of black rings on it. So this is a TRRS cable. It's tip, ring, ring, shield. And so this is going to allow you to transmit your microphone and send sound back to your speakers. So what I do with this is I attach a splitter to it. There's an audio splitter. I'll talk about that in just a second. But basically, you're going to plug this splitter in, and it will split out the microphone and the speaker. You can see a lot of times there's a little speaker icon and there's a little microphone, or there's a headset icon, and then there's a microphone icon. So in the mixer, you can plug the microphone piece into any of these microphones, and your headset portion can either go into the headset piece or it can go into the output. Either way, the sound is going to come out. The difference I find with this particular mixer is that the sound that comes out of the headphone jack is louder than the output, and you may want that so that it's easier to hear yourself in your headphones. So this is for one person right now. Now, one of the other things that's important with this particular mixer is it has phantom power. So these buttons up here at the top allow you to switch between no power and 1.5 volts and 48 volts. Now, for a person that's using the type of microphones that I have right now, in order for this mixer to actually pick up the sound and send it out, you need it set to 1.5 volts. So in this particular case, I have mic 1, and this one's confusing. I don't know why they did it this way, but the aux piece is up at the top, and it has nothing to do with the power here. It's powering this mic down at the bottom. So I have 1.5 volts, and I have it plugged in, and if the power were on, I would be adjusting the volume for the microphone here on the side, as well as the master volume to see what the appropriate volume is. You want to test it out whenever you go live and just see what's too loud for your ears, not loud enough so that you can hear in your own ear, and also loud enough but not too loud on the broadcast. And that just takes time practicing. Now, if I'm going to do this with more than one person, I'm going to need another headset, and I'm going to need another splitter. And I will also need a separate piece here. So the next step would be, okay, so here's my other splitter that would be plugged into another person's setup. And I'll plug this in, the microphone piece, into mic 2. I'm going to make sure that the phantom power is on at 1.5 volts. And I could plug this in somewhere else, but I only have one spot for the headphone jack. So what I've done to solve this problem is I'll disconnect the headphone jack, and I have this piece here. This is a 5-in-1 audio cable jack, and you notice the portion on this one is just it's TRRS, so there's only 2 black lines there because it's tip, ring, shield. And so I'm going to plug this into the headphone jack, and this will give me 5 separate ports to plug into. So at this point, I will plug in both headphone jacks to this piece. Now what that does is all of the sound that's going to come out of the mixer, which is going to be me talking and my counterpart talking, that sound is going to come out into this piece, and then our headphones are going to carry it back up into our headsets. So both of us, when we're talking, will be able to hear ourselves and we'll be able to hear the other person talking. So that's how I have this particular setup. And again, you'll want to adjust your volume so that you can hear each other and so that the broadcast can hear you appropriately. Now from here, once you have all of the sound from both of you coming into the mixer, you're going to want that mixer to go into the phone. So I have another TRRS cable here, and it's a male to male, so both ends are male. And I'm going to take that, and you can do one of two things. You can either have it go into the output, so the output will take it to, is just sending the signal to wherever you want it to go, or you can also have it come into the piece that's coming out of the headset. So it's your preference. You may want to test it out to see what you like best. But either way, the point is it's coming out of the mixer. The sound that's coming out of the mixer is going to be sent to your phone. Now, in order to make this happen, in addition to this the reason why I'm using this male-to-male cable is because in order for the phone to recognize the sound, the signal that's coming from your mixer, and to pick it up in your phone, you need this smaller piece. And I'm going to pull this up on the screen real quick, so bear with me here. There we go. So this piece is, and of course it zoomed in on me, so bear with me 1 second. I don't know what it is off the top of my head. It's the Movo MC3 TRRS to TRRS adapter. So this piece is super important if you're going to be broadcasting in any way. And that has to plug directly into the phone. So here what I have is, here's the end of the output, and I'm just going to plug that into this Movo piece. And then I will plug this directly into my phone's headphone jack. And at this point, all of the sound that's coming from both my microphone and my counterpart's microphone will get sent into the phone. And that's assuming the mixer's powered, of course. I don't have the mixer powered right now. The reason why I don't have it powered is because I wanted to explain that one of the things I ran into when I was using this mixer the first time is that there was a lot of feedback noise. There's a lot of buzzing, there's a lot of interference and those types of things. And that was happening whenever I was using the power from an outlet. So I had it plugged into one of the outlets that's in the booth. And what I found was I could eliminate that sound by using a different power source. So in this particular case, I started using a battery. So the battery that I have is just a power bank, and I kind of went a little overboard, but it's only $20. So if you look at this, is the power bank. It's 25,000. I don't know what mAh is, but it's a lot of mAh. Anyway, the point of having this power battery is it is not AC current, it's DC current, and for whatever reason that increases or that removes the interference. So all I do is I have this power bank, and I have a USB to micro USB connection, and I plug it in, and then I plug that piece into my power slot on the mic or on the mixer. So there you have it. And then when I use this setup here, the power bank will power the mixer for quite a long time. At 100%, it will go down to it'll maybe use 6-7% over the course of an hour and a half, 2 hours. So it's more than enough to power the mixer. And I have some other pieces as well, but that is my basic setup. So I have, again, the microphone for my headset going into the mic 1. I have microphone 2 going in here. Both of them are powered at 1.5 volts. I have the mixer. I've adjusted the master volume and the volume for each microphone, and the headset piece is connected into this 5-way option. And then I have the TRRS cable for the output that goes into the Movo MC3 TRRS to TRRS adapter, and then this goes into your phone. So that's my basic setup. This is first time doing this video, so bear with me here. Some of the tips that I have are to test everything before you go live. So I've spent a whole bunch of time either going live on my personal account, where I was able to change the Facebook settings to only broadcast to myself, and then I could use another device to watch myself, and that way I was able to test things out over and over and over again without anybody seeing me. So that would be my first recommendation, is just to keep testing it, keep trying it out. The other piece that I have is the Bluetooth earbuds. So again, I just have a set of Bluetooth earbuds that I use with my phone that isn't broadcasting to be able to hear the broadcast while I'm doing it. So if I start doing a live broadcast, I will want to test the audio while I'm going along as well, and that's an easy way to do it. So those are my tips. So I hope this video was helpful. Just want to say thanks for listening, and I will have more videos going forward. If you have questions, if you want to see more stuff, let me know. Thanks a lot.